My aunt kidnapped me, and I didn't see my parents for 6 years. 18 years later, I was the one to defend her in court. The prosecutor pointed at my Aunt Vivian and called her a monster. I stood up from the gallery, walked to the defense table, and asked to be sworn in as a witness for her side. The courtroom went silent. My parents, sitting 3 rows behind me, looked like they'd been slapped, but they didn't know what I'd found in my father's storage unit 2 months ago. Nobody did. When I was 9 years old, Aunt Vivian showed up at my elementary school during lunch, signed me out with forged documents, and drove me across 4 state lines to a cabin in Montana. I didn't see my parents again until I was 15, when the FBI finally tracked us down. Vivian went to prison for 5 years. I went home to parents who threw me a welcome back party and told everyone their son had been rescued from a deranged woman. I believed them completely, but something never added up. Vivian refused to explain herself at trial. She refused to speak to reporters. She refused to appeal her sentence. When I visited her in prison once, hoping for answers, she just looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "You're safe now. That's all that matters." I left angrier than when I arrived. She wouldn't even apologize. 2 months ago, my father died of a stroke. I was cleaning out his storage unit when I found a locked filing cabinet buried under camping gear. Inside were medical records from when I was 8 years old, hospital visits I had no memory of, broken ribs, a fractured wrist, cigarette burns on my back documented with photographs. Every report listed the same cause, accidental injury. Every report was signed by my mother. There was also a stack of letters from Vivian to Child Protective Services, begging them to investigate. They were all stamped insufficient evidence. The final document in that cabinet destroyed everything I thought I knew. It was a police report from the week before Vivian took me. A neighbor had called 911 after hearing screaming from our house. Officers arrived and found me locked in a basement closet with no food or water. My father talked his way out of it, claimed I was being punished for stealing, and the officers left without filing charges. Vivian was listed as the complainant who'd begged them to take me. She'd been trying to save me for years, and nobody listened. I confronted my mother the same night. She didn't deny any of it. She just said, "We were disciplining you." Vivian had no right to interfere. I asked about the cigarette burns. She said I was a difficult child. I asked about the basement. She said I needed to learn consequences. Her voice never wavered. No guilt, no shame. Just cold, practiced justification for years of torture I'd blocked from my memory. The prosecution called me as their star witness, expecting me to describe my trauma at Vivian's hands. Instead, I handed the judge the police report, the medical records, and the photographs from that filing cabinet. I testified for 3 hours about what I'd found. I testified about the scars on my back I'd been told came from a childhood accident. Vivian sobbed quietly at the defense table, hearing me finally understand the truth she'd protected me from for 18 years. The judge dismissed all charges and ordered an investigation into my parents. My mother was arrested in the courtroom. Vivian walked free that afternoon, and I drove her home myself.